Dim the lights, ladies and gentlemen. Today we're going to be talking about an internet horror story, if there ever was one. On November 12th, 2018, Pokemon, a game that a lot of fans and a lot of Nintendo Switch console owners have been dying to try out, dying to play, leaked online. This is almost exactly 4 days before the intended release date. So theoretically speaking, no one had a copy of the game yet. Besides those who had a hacked Nintendo Switch console, they could try it out before buying it. And as you know, you cannot play any hacked game online unless it is actually a legitimate purchased copy. And you can't do it on custom firmware either without getting banned or running the risk of getting banned. DarkUmbra.net, video game sharing website well known by those in the hacking community, is the location where the said game was leaked. The first version of the game that was actually leaked was the Pokemon Let's Go Eevee version. The minute that it leaked, as you could expect, the forum was flooded with thousands or hundreds of posts, all leaking and linking you to this leaked game and allowing you to be able to download it, install it, and try it out before you buy it. There were a lot of users, myself included, that were more interested in the Let's Go Pikachu version instead of the Eevee version. I spent what felt like the entire morning refreshing the page on Dark Umbra over and over and over again, waiting to see if the Pikachu version was going to be posted. And it did. But here's where things took a turn for the worse. Because I was refreshing the page over and over and over again, I was one of the first people to download the file. And usually with these leaks or leaked copies of games, you have no way to verify the hash of the file. For those of you that are into the hacking community, you may know a little bit more about what I'm talking about. But traditionally, it involves opening up a program and verifying that these numbers inside of this file match the numbers that are on this database. Now, when a game leaks, there are no numbers to verify because it hasn't yet been verified by the community. Now, before we continue, I'd like to note that I know a lot of people have a very bad taste in their mouth when it comes to, like, I guess, piracy and everything along those lines. But I would like to ease your mind before we continue any further and let you know that I am not a pirate. I do not endorse pirating games or stealing from developers, as I am a developer myself, as well as a musician, and I develop a lot of things, as you guys know, content, etc., etc., etc. The sole reason that I was interested to begin with in hacking my Nintendo Switch was because homebrew and, yes, creating backups of my legitimate copies of games that I actually do own. Now, why would I want to make copies and backups of these? Two reasons. One, I don't want to carry around these game cartridges with me everywhere I go. And secondly, me and my fiance both have Nintendo Switches. So it would be a pain in the ass to buy multiple copies of single player games just so we both can play them. So if she wants to play at the same time I'm playing, it's not possible. Therefore, thus creating the need for me to have another Switch that has hacks and homebrew and etc. installed on it, allowing me to play my legitimate copies of backups of games and etc. If you're as big as a fan as I am of the Pokemon series and you played it since your childhood, of course you're going to be interested in getting an early copy of the game before its release. I would like to note as well, I already have the game pre-ordered with GameStop, and I was planning on having a physical copy so I could pop it over from my legitimate Switch that I have for online and my Switch that I have for mods and hacks and etc. Another reason that I really am interested into homebrew and everything is because it can allow you to modify games and install things that may not have been intended to run within the game. such as Goku and Smash Bros. Now, although a lot of you are like very against that idea, but I personally would like to be able to play a game that has Goku inside of it and it's a Smash title. And I'd like to be able to show off to my friends and like play the game with my friends in the small circle of friends that I do have. So I'm scrolling. I see this post that says, "Let's go Pikachu." I click on it. First thing I do is scroll down through the comments and scroll into the information that is actually contained within the post. There were screenshots verifying that the game had indeed been the Let's Go Pikachu version. There were also fake accounts on there that had said, "Yes, this is real. It worked. Thank you," that were falsely verifying that this file was good. Hold on, let me put my nose ring in. Okay, so after I scroll through and I download this file, I ultimately load it onto my Nintendo Switch. I go and I use tinfoil and I actually installed this file. My Switch was still working perfectly fine when I installed this file. I'm like really excited. My girlfriend comes up with breakfast in her hand and I'm like, "Yo, baby, look." I'm like, "Check this out. Look at this game." And she's really excited too, but she's like, "What if it's something that's going to break your Switch and they secretly are hacking you?" And like, she just said like a long list of crazy things that were supposed to be a joke. And I'm like, "Oh no, you have nothing to worry about. It's not possible to break the Nintendo Switch by running a video game on it that was created for the Switch." So then to prove my point to her, I click on the game and then I click on my user and boot the game up. The game boots up perfectly fine, as if there's nothing wrong with it at all. And then suddenly, Nintendo Switch just cuts off. And I'm left with this. A brick, technically. A $300 brick. A $300 piece of crap that just has no use. Yes, you can still run Laka on it. That's an emulation software that allows you to play a lot of games. And yes, you can run Linux. But who really wants to do that? We bought the Switch to play the Switch as the Nintendo Switch with the other benefits of having these other games being able to run alongside it, not to run it solely for just emulation. So the first thing I do is I go over to my favorite forum. Literally, it's been my favorite forum since I was a child, probably since I was like 12 or 13. I'm 25 now. So I post on there trying to figure out what's going on. And my first initial thought is, oh man, I clicked on in tinfoil to ignore the firmware requirements. So I'm thinking that essentially because it ignored the required firmware, that when I booted this game up, it didn't have the required files to run the game. So therefore it just soft bricked or messed up something in my system that I'll be able to fix very easily. Now, I'd like to note that I did not have my NAND backed up. For those of you that aren't on the hacking scene, that pretty much is a backup of your operating system on your Nintendo Switch. And it's unique to each Nintendo Switch or each system. You can't fool it by using someone else's or downloading one off the web and just installing one of theirs. It has a unique identifier code that comes with each system that is imprinted on the system at factory. So before they ship it out to the people who sell it, the distributors, they actually imprint this code on the system that is unique to each system. Now, I didn't back my NAND up because it is not mandatory. It is not required. And there technically should not be any type of code running around like this that will destroy your system, at least to my knowledge and to what everyone else had said. Wrong. That's my first mistake, is assuming that there aren't people out there that want to spend their free time ruining lives of the others. So back to what I was saying about GBA Temp, my favorite forum. I went there, I posted to ask what was going on with the problem. And to my alert and to my surprise, one of the users there said, "You didn't get this brick from installing the fake Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu NSP, did you?" And I'm like, wait, what? That's actually a thing? So I'm like starting to realize that it wasn't that I clicked on ignore the firmware requirement. It was actually that this NSP was created to break Nintendo Switch consoles. The plot thickens, and it thickens so much it becomes a thick soup. Everybody starts like flocking in and just starts telling their stories of how their Nintendo Switch is now bricked and hacked. And then I check Reddit and everyone is going crazy on Reddit. Their Nintendo Switches are broken. I start having some of you guys hit me up and tell me your Nintendo Switches are broken. And I'm like, dude, this is really just crazy. It's affected everyone, it seems like, at least. There are a few people that it did not affect, those who had a NAND backup. But to my knowledge, I may be wrong. When you do a NAND backup, it doesn't save your saved data. So when you restore a NAND of a previous NAND that you created before, it reverts all of your saved data back to like either blank or back to the current state it was at that time. I may be wrong. Feel free to correct me if I am. As we're all idly just chatting about, a user just comes in and posts. And it just seemed like he just knew way too much. Like, how do you know about this, bro? How do you know what exactly happened and how it happened and what caused it? And he didn't even need a copy of the file. I figured like maybe he has a little bit more experience in coding or developing or anything than me, especially when it comes to the Nintendo Switch. You guys know I don't develop for the Nintendo Switch at all, and I haven't even jumped into that water or territory yet. So this guy just starts speaking about it, like he knows everything about it, how it was made, what it affects and what it did and how it broke the console. And that was the first thing to me that stood out. Then later on, it just starts getting just deeper and deeper and dirtier and dirtier. The more we go on, the more people that are coming in and saying and telling us their story. And then suddenly a user just jumps in and posts a screenshot from Discord of that same guy. His name is Creatable, by the way. I will put a link in the description to the GBA Temp forum, the one that we're speaking about now, so you guys can go check it out for yourself. But I also will include screenshots over top of the video. These Discord photos pretty much showed this guy talking about developing this application to specifically break Nintendo Switches, as well as gloating and bragging about having done so and looking down on people and calling them the lesser brain or less smart or whatever, something along those lines, where he just thinks that he's superior to everyone because he got over on them and that they're idiots for not backing up their NAND. Well, let me put this into perspective. We would never have to back up our NAND if people like you, cyber terrorists, did not exist to begin with. So as he is exposed, he comes forward and says, yes, I created this file and it was not me that put it out, though. It was a friend of mine that leaked it. First question that pops into my head is, well, how did your friend get his hands on it? It wouldn't only make sense that you shared it to him or he had access to your computer. Second thing that popped in my mind is, why would you make this file? For what reason would you want to break people's Nintendo Switches and fool them into thinking they're installing a game when indeed it's actually some malicious code that you have designed to destroy their system? As we continue chatting and everyone's posting in the forum, it starts to come to my attention that this guy, he's not who he says he is. I believe that this friend he's talking about is actually an alternative account that he has himself, and thus he's always in the know of what this other person is doing and where this other person is and the account status of this other person. When this person's account was suspended or banned, he immediately knew. How did he know the very moment that it happened? Either they're completely communicating at all times, or he is that person. That's not all. The story gets much deeper from here on out. The guy begins apologizing and saying how remorseful he is. But at this point, the Discord photos have already leaked of him laughing at people and saying that the purpose of him creating it was solely to hurt others and to get the pleasure of laughing at their stupidity or lack of knowledge to know to back their NAND up. Later on, as we're all chatting and trying to come up with some solution, we find out that there is no solution. If you did not have a backup of that unique identified number that is imprinted on your Nintendo Switch at factory, or your NAND, should I say, you were completely fucked. Like, you're hit. That's it. It's a wrap for your Nintendo Switch. You can just chuck the shit out the window, for real, literally. So this is a confirmation for those of you out there that have had your Nintendo Switch bricked or just rendered completely useless by using the Let's Go Pikachu version of this NSP. The people that you can thank for this are both in this forum on GBA Temp. I will link it down below. They are the reasons why your Nintendo Switch is broken, and they did it on purpose, and they're happy that your Nintendo Switch is broken, and this is exactly what they wanted. I will add that these individuals have been doxxed in the forum. Their information has been leaked all over. I will not be linking you to that information, but I mean, if you look hard enough, I'm pretty sure you could find it. And I would like to add that this is not the first time that they have done this. This is actually the second time that they have done this. The first time was with the Team Executor, the operating system that they have that they were running to allow you to boot XCI games from your Nintendo Switch that required a dongle. They created a fake version of this that didn't require the dongle, that would allow you to install the same brick or the same malicious code that would break your Nintendo Switch. They were the ones behind that and created that. So the first wave of Switches that got bricked and destroyed, they're responsible for. The second wave, this wave, they're responsible for, as well as my very own Nintendo Switch. Now, as you guys know, you guys take care of me pretty well. My fiance takes care of me pretty well. And I mean, I'm pretty well off with you guys having my back and being in my corner. So of course I was able to get a new Nintendo Switch, but ultimately the issue still underlying is that there are many people out there who are not as well off as I am. There are single parents who bought the console for their child. There are people that work a 9-to-5 and barely make enough money to be able to afford a new Switch. So they're not able to just chuck out another $300 and just go pick up a new Switch and be completely fine with this happening. There's a lot of people that actually are mad, and they were making death threats. They were saying how they were going to start a class action lawsuit, that they were going to the police and they were reporting them and all types of things. I personally would just say that the only thing that I plan to do is continue hacking my Nintendo Switch and making sure that I have a backup to be able to restore my NAND in the event that these people get back to work and do the same thing all over again. Now, the issue with this whole story where people are really losing their shit is where it seems like the moderators over on this, or at least one or two of the moderators over on this website, are on these people's side. They're defending them. They're allowing them to make more software now to the point where they will try to repair your Nintendo Switch that they just now broke. Now, the mods haven't really banned either one of them. They just suspended one of their accounts. And I don't know if it was temporary or permanent, but no one has been updated with as far as how they went about fixing this problem and preventing it from happening again. Because as you already heard, this already happened previously, and these people, same people, are still around with these same accounts and everything, still posting in the forums. The thing that is causing people to panic the most right now is people are saying, what if this guy makes a fix to fix your brick Nintendo Switch, but it actually infects your computer and now destroys your computer as well? Like, I'm making this video because the main thing that pisses me off about this is that there are actually some people out here defending this form of cyber terrorism. And they don't see how this is cyber terrorism because they're blaming the user who did not back up his NAND and saying, well, if you backed up your NAND, you wouldn't have this problem. Well, no, if this person didn't create this malicious code to begin with, then we wouldn't have this problem. What they're technically saying is that if someone went on a massive killing spree, a shooting or something, and they started shooting everybody, they're saying that it's your fault you get shot because you don't have a gun to protect yourself. And you should have brought one or bought one because you knew this could happen. Come on now, use your head. That logic doesn't make any sense. I just want to throw this out there. The type of people defending the actions of these people are the same people that would think that if their parents went to Rite Aid to get a prescription medicine and they received some medicine that wasn't the medicine it was supposed to be, and their parents took it and their parents died, they would blame it on their own parents for not checking to confirm that it was the right medicine instead of trusting the source that they received it from. You understand where I'm going with this? It's almost never okay to blame the victim when we have situations like this take place. And I hope this has taught those that were defending the actions of these people something, or taught them a lesson, or at least changed their perspective or opened their mind a little bit to help them understand and realize what it feels like to have this happen. Just have a little bit of empathy and try to understand how you would feel had you not had that NAND backup. Because like I said previously, a lot of users are hacking their Nintendo Switch with what? Not a computer, with their phone, with Android phones running the payload launcher. Now, that is also to go to say that when they take their SD card out of their Nintendo Switch, they're not putting it into a computer to get these files. They're putting it in their phone to copy over these files because it's way easier to do that on the fly and on the go. Download something while you're out at work, pop it onto your Switch on your break and let it install while you're working the rest of the day. Boom, come back and then test it out when you get off work. You know, a lot of people operate and run that way. And sometimes I did myself as well, download files straight off the web on my phone and just pop it on my Switch real quick. But another point that I was making. Not a lot of users have enough space on their phone to be able to hold a 30 gigabyte NAND backup on their device, because a lot of these phones only come with 32 gigabytes. And as you know, when you get a 32 gigabyte anything, pretty much only 28 gigabytes or 29 gigabytes are actually usable. Most phones come with 32, some come with 64, but who wants to sacrifice half of their storage space to just store some file that will potentially protect them and they might not ever need? I just hope this video has helped you to understand a little bit how you may have been affecting others. And I hope that everybody out there who had their Nintendo Switches bricked and broken because of these douchebags actually know now who to point the finger at and who to blame, and not blaming yourself because it's not your fault. On the bright side, it is possible to go onto eBay and order just a new Nintendo Switch tablet only for $160. It also may be possible to recover your save files from your Nintendo Switch and transfer it onto the new one that you get. And the last resort option, which I probably wouldn't recommend to you, is to call up Nintendo and see if you're still under warranty and tell them that you used a third-party dock and that is what bricked your Nintendo Switch, and hope that they don't go into your console and see all the crap you've been tinkering around with and decide not to fix your Switch. But that's the worst that could happen, is that they send it back to you and say, no, we won't fix this. Okay, so in conclusion to this video, I just want to say thank you to everybody that has supported my channel. And through doing so, you have enabled me to be able to buy a new Nintendo Switch and also provide for myself as well as my girlfriend and allow me to be able to live a little bit more comfortably than normal. And to those of you that had your Nintendo Switch bricked by these douchebags, again, you know who did it. You know who to be pissed off at. Do whatever you're gonna do. I'm not telling. Did I learn from this entire scenario? Back up your NAND and be careful of malicious software. There are people out here who spend their lives just trying to fuck up everybody else's lives because they hate themselves and they hate their lives that much that they just want to fuck yours up or see you sad or upset or feeling as bad as they do about themselves. Ultimately, this was a $300 lesson that I learned, as well as I lost about 1,000 hours of playtime in Xenoblade Chronicles, as well as my Zelda Breath of the Wild saves, and all of that good stuff is pretty much gone, not getting it back. I don't know if there is a way to recover it. I still do have the piece of trash Switch, but I'm hoping that maybe in the future somebody might direct me or point me to a way to recover the save files from a brick Switch. But if not, it is what it is. I've already chalked it up. And am I mad at these guys? At first I wasn't mad at them, but now after reading through this and seeing how much they gloat about it and brag about it and think that they're so much higher and above everyone else, yeah, I'm fucking pissed off. And a big fuck you to them, and a big fuck you to their families, and a big fuck you to everybody around them, all their friends, their pets, everybody in their communities and everything. Fuck all of them. And I just want to say that and end the video with that. And I hope you guys have a good one. Stay sharp, Shinobis. Take care of yourselves. Stay healthy. Stay happy. Peace out.